What's your gripe with Kevin Samuels?
I don't have one. I think a lot of what he says, it does have some truth to it. I think
When you say some truth, what do you mean? I'm intrigued deeper.
Wait. Then have you? That's a bullet point.
Like,
Go.
I feel like as far as like women expect things that they don't have, I agree with like a lot of what he says as far as like the values in like a high value man and a high value woman.
Mm-hmm.
I just I don't know, maybe his delivery is a little off. And then like, I don't know, he taught like, the whole idea of an image consultant like just like throws me off completely. Like just the fact that that's like a thing. And I understand why it is a thing, because like, you know, people want to, you know, make over or trying to find a man, try to find a woman.
Chris is over here boiling up. I know he's ready to go.
I'm not ready to go at all. I'm just laughing.
What? What are you laughing at?
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm laughing because what's your beef with image consultant?
Like, I don't have no beef, but like it's just like.
No, you said you're strife with Kevin Samuels because he's an image consultant.
Like the fact that there is a such thing as an image consultant is like a little like.
Do you think he does more benefit for society or more harm to society?
Society, like,
because he has over 1 million followers. He's, that's a big impact, big influence.
So okay.
Or 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So
that's the benchmark.
I mean, that's a lot. It's like a 1 point something. That's a lot of people. Like if 1 million people are watching your videos, that's a large chunk of people you're impacting.
I think that is.
So, yeah,
like
that's...
that. Once you hit an M, that's like now you really could.
Musicians do M's on their songs. So like, do you think he's doing those 1 million people who subscribe to him? Is he doing them more of a benefit or a harm? The people who call in, all that.
Okay, I feel like he's bringing light to certain things that really go under the rug.
Choose one.
I don't like his delivery. I don't feel like what he says is wrong. I tell you guys that all the time when we speak about this. Like, I know we spoke about this a couple of times on camera, but even off camera when we just talking and we're going through like, the videos, you always throwing videos in the chat and shit like that. And I do think like with men and women comes value, and I do think if you can't produce something or, you can't be something that you want, then how do you expect to find that? Like, I agree with a lot of what he says. Again, it's just like his delivery.
No,
like,
do you think he does more harm to society or more benefit?
I think he brings topic. I think he brings he enlightens certain things. Like,
you're dancing around it. Like,
no question.
I
harm or help?
Because like I don't want. Okay.
Wait, before you answer this, I'm gonna say something, and you can rip me for this, but I just think this is funny because I see my mom and my family members do it. They're like, "Yo, some women have an issue with an absolute question. Is this or this?" They always gotta lay like the bridge in between and stand in the middle.
I do.
But
I do have a problem with that. I can't. I don't know how to.
She started scratching her head.
Okay.
I can tell you what I think. Is that what maybe?
I don't know if it's okay. I don't know if it's good or it's bad. Like, how can we tell? Because for real, he has a lot of people in uproar.
I can help you. I can help you.
Because I feel like Chris is about to blow my shit.
No, Lay.
My God.
You know if something is one of the other. If it's 51% of the, if 50.5, whatever, 50.1% of the time, it's a benefit. We can say it does more harm than good. Let's just use that scale. We don't have to get all, use that scale.
Okay, I would say benefit.
Then I think he should keep doing what he's doing.
That's all he needed.
I do think he's beneficial because I do think like he does talk about hard things. He does talk about things that people don't want to hear. Again, something, I'm not saying like I agree with every single thing he says, and I'm agreeing with more than disagreeing with the things he says. That's why I feel like he's beneficial, because he brings out hard topics, but his delivery, like, and the fact, like, I don't know, he just is very like one time I watched a video and the girl was like, he was like, "What's your age?" And the girl was like, "Guess." And he was like, boom, he just hung up on her.
Yeah, don't
like,
come off phone playing.
No.
That's what he said. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Don't call my phone playing.
But that's like not, like, come on, that's not like
but here, now
necessary.
hear this out. Hear this out. How old, if you're a grown up and you're calling into a show, a live show where this is his livelihood, like he makes money off this is how he feeds his family. You're calling into a show, there's other people waiting, and you're gonna call his phone to play games. Like, Chris, would you call the news? Would you call the news like, "What's your name, guess?"
It's a show though. It's not the news. The news is informative, like it's giving the facts, like things that are more important. You can't go on the news and go like fuck around. It's a show on a live that people are known to go on there and
see,
fuck
I know
around.
See, you don't see, like, maybe you or that person doesn't take his show that serious, but him as a person takes his craft and what he does that serious.
Of course.
And so that you can't play on his platform. And you gotta respect that.
I understand that, but you also have to understand that it's a show.
Then don't call.
No, but it's a show. So you have to get, like, it's a show. Like you're on there to have a conversation and like what if that's just how you interact?
Guess? What is it?
I mean, like, what if that's how
what if someone called out? Imagine we having a show,
no,
Imagine
but
having
like,
a show.
what if you're a playful person? What if that's how you interact?
Imagine we're having a serious moment. We're talking about,
that's
trauma.
Not a serious moment.
It's not. We're talking about life trauma, or we're talking about getting our lives in order.
That's
someone calls the show like,
moment,
we're like, "Hey man, we're having a serious, What do you mean? People call his show to get life advice on their life.
I understand, but
let me finish.
Wasn't.
Let me finish. Then don't call.
But
you know what I'm saying? What if someone called you to prank call?
Even,
like, you get a prank call, you're like,
I don't even want to say she wasn't trying to get advice, because she obviously was trying to get advice. Yeah. She was on the show. But that's how she wanted to communicate. That's how she wanted to express herself. How are you going to tell somebody that's...
Well, okay, so when you go to a doctor's office or when you go to someone else's thing, do you follow...
I think...
Do you go make your own rules?
Lay's trying to say the show isn't as... Not serious as in, like, it shouldn't be taken serious, but it's not like...
Yeah.
He's told jokes on the show before.
But no, I'm taking it even deeper than that, because this is something I think we should realize about life.
Mm-hmm.
You, like, for instance, something that's not yours, not your platform, it's not for you to go there and say what I think how this should run, how I think this should go, how I think this is. I'm going to go and flick that on someone else's platform. Let me finish. When you are a guest in someone's home, when you are a guest on someone's platform, you have to respect that. And everyone knows that. Everyone who's mature, everyone who knows that. So if someone comes, like if someone called your phone, you're like, "Oh, hey, this is Lay. How you doing? Who is this?" They're like, guess. Stop playing on my phone, bro. You know what I'm saying? You have things to do. You're at work. You're working. And someone's calling to mess around, joke around on your phone, on your platform. Now, it's just bye. Like, do you pick up all these scammers who call? No, you have a show to run on a time limit. I have exactly 2.5 hours to run this show. I do not have 20 minutes to mess around with someone's playing when there's 10 other people waiting. Now, if you as a person can't understand that, then it's not my job to try and amend every single person. No, my job is to run a show. So I'm not going to sit here and try to make you feel good because you want to come on my show and play when there's 10 other people who really need life advice waiting, and I can really use my time to utilize and help them. You have to go. And that's how, like, when you're really trying to accomplish things, that's how life works. People don't sit around we got to get things done. And if you are going to come and try to ruin that and waste that time, then you can't be a part of this group who's trying to get things done. And life works that way. No matter how old you are, how you are, like, you have to learn that lesson. And we ask, like, you don't go to work like, well, this is how I think it should run. No, because there's bosses who've been running a system for 20 years. You're coming in to learn that system to improve yourself to get better. You have to treat everything in life like that. Now, this isn't no 95 South show where it's jokes and stuff like. Then don't call. Go call that place or go call somewhere else where, hey, they take prank calls and improvs. Go do that there. It's not here for that.
Okay. I totally understand and I agree with your point and how things need to be taken serious when it's your craft. She called in for advice. Mm-hmm. If he asked her age and she said guess, that is more of a social platform. What he's doing is more social for people to go on there.
Are you going to define what he's doing, or he's going to define what he's doing?
No, he's gonna definitely define what he's doing, but he has to also see how people see it. You have to also understand how
we're gonna have to agree and disagree on that one.
Yeah,
I can see we're gonna go. I'm just saying we just might as well just
because it's what he does. He makes most of his money on social media or I don't know what he makes most of his money on. I don't even want to speak on that, but he does most of his networking. Well, whatever from what I've seen on Instagram and things like that, and talking to people and interviewing people. So if you go on and somebody wants to, it's just people. You have to handle people a certain way. Like, I'm not saying you have to be courteous to everybody's feelings and everybody's emotions, and you gotta do this and do that. But if you're going on a more social platform and you're gonna be social, then you can't be so about everything, because you're in that social setting. People are going to want to play and joke with you, and I understand that it is his I understand this is his business and this is what he's doing. But also, you're going on live, you're joking around, you're saying things, you're playing with people, and then somebody gets on there and is playing with you. It's like, okay.
To play devil's advocate, I definitely understand what you're saying, and I watch his show a lot. So he does have moments where he may be in a more playful mood, right? And then he has moments where he's more serious. I think with him, if you know him as a person, you have to read the room before you answer the call or be watching the show to know how he's feeling that night. I think that night, Shorty thought that he was going to be on, like, you feel me, like a jokey joke type of vibe, and he had just got off a call with some lady that he had, like, a conversation with that was kind of went left. So he was already, like, not in a good mood. So we kind of did that. So I do understand both aspects of it. You know, you do have to run your platform in an efficient, respectful way. At the same time, he does leave those doors open sometimes where people do joke with him. And he does give people some leeway sometimes, but that just wasn't one of them times. But yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Demigod Chronicles. This your boy Santi Daya, aka Demigod. We're back here on another beautiful recording day. Feel me? We got some nice people in the building. Introduce yourselves.
Nice people.
What?
Nice people.
What you mean? What?
You said it like we a guest or something. That is like, you know what I mean? Got some nice people.
Got some nice people.
Yeah, right?
We not your co-host
we
no
here
more,
every
nigga.
week.
Right? Jace, did you take it like that?
It kind of came off that way. I'm not going to hold you.
I said we got some. I literally looked at everybody and said we got some nice people in the building.
People just turned so quick.
I'm just saying.
They were going at it. All of a sudden they just teamed up together.
So I just said one thing. Jace, remember when we was talking about in the kitchen? I know how this episode about to go.
All I'm saying is
Attack of Asante all over again.
Bro, that wasn't even an attack, but welcome to the Demigod Chronicles. It's Christian Lopez. We're here for episode 42.
Yes.
42. Gonna have a great show today. We have got some special things we're doing today, right? A little bit different, but
yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Hey, it's your girl Lay, back at it for another week with my brother man. Super excited to be here, and let's get it. I'm already kind of amped from the little
from the
Chris,
rant.
yeah.
From
Chris
the
got me
I'm
amped.
a professional disagreeer. So me, I know when something's over, I'll be like, oh, whatever.
We got Jace in the back on the ones and twos. You feel me? But yeah. I mean, for me, that was a little opening convo right there. I think y'all both definitely made some good points, and I don't know. I feel like with most things in life, you do have to be mindful of how other people operate. But there's some people that are just like strictly set on how they do things and what they do is efficient to their life, and they just feel like they're not about to really accommodate other people.
I really think, like, when it comes to large scale things, like macro, micros, when it comes to large scale, at a certain point, you can't. Like the CEO for Instagram was on the Breakfast Club, and they asked him, like, yo, why you always taking down like Boozy, or you know how people like you know who Tory Lanez all get shut down. They're like, yo, some people get shut down, they say the N-word, but they're black. It's our culture. Yeah. So how do you just take people down for that? He goes, do you think Instagram doesn't understand like a cultural appropriation? He's like, no, we don't. The CEO was like, no, we don't. He goes, because we're a global company. So like for us to really sit there and appease everyone is like impossible.
Oh no, I don't mean on a scale like that.
No, I mean the same thing, bro. Even like that, bro. Macro, bro. To the point, even if you had 30,000 followers, right, and you had 100 people calling your phone every single night, you're gonna try and appease 100 people? No, you have to set principles and guidelines, and you have to just run with that. And that's how. And for macro things to work, it has to work that way, because you'll drive yourself crazy trying to please people. To please everyone is impossible.
But I just mean, there's a lot of people who realize who they are is not for everyone, right? And it's like, all right, if I'm this way, if I'm setting my ways, I have a strict way of how I do things. I'm gonna weed out the people that I don't even want to.
And if it's working, that's also a big point.
But listen, they're gonna weed out the people that they don't even want to be networking with, right? Cool. But there are a group of people out there that just socially, they have a different, like, there's people that I don't engage in small talk if it's not about business. I don't want to, whatever. And there's people that, like, they might have to talk to somebody and warm up to them before they can even open up and talk about any type of business ventures with them. Like, my dad told me about a situation where he went and he was, like, doing business with this guy, but, like, for 2 days, like, he was out in Texas, and the guy, like, he's like, no, we're not talking business. Like, I want to get to know who you are first. And there's some people who they're like, I don't have time for this. Like, we doing business or not. But this guy, he's in a position to, like, my dad seals his deal. It'll make a lot of money for his company. But that's just how he is in the business world. Yeah. But then you'll meet some more people where, like, they're more refined. They're just, like, straight to the book, like, sit down. Like, I don't even want to do dinner. Like, you come to my office, we'll talk, and then we'll do business like that. I think you just have to have a personality that can work in both groups. You feel me? Because, like, that guy that wants to sit there and go out to dinner and, like, learn who you are and learn about your family.
Who's out of those two guys? Who's is working better for them?
What do you mean?
Like, those two guys you named, who is getting better results?
I mean, they're both in a position of power. But it's not
results in general. Because, like, for instance, what you're saying,
you're looking at the two guys. I'm saying you as a person.
No, I was gonna take it deeper what you just said. Because, like, for instance, there used to be a way of doing things where people thought it was okay to be that way. Like, steamhead, don't make relationships, don't change. And then there was like a management philosophy. That all changed now. And now you hear the buzzword like servant leadership. People are more so like the second one you named, because they realize on the psyche of a human being, that gets better results, right? That's servant leadership. So, like, in management, so that's why I'm asking which one is getting better results. Because, like, if you have 1,000 people, right, and 1,000 people do it the one way, and out of that 1,000, 200 people become successful doing it that way. Now the other way, you have 1,000 people, and out of that 1,000 people, 450 people become successful. Now we can say, okay, this way is better of doing things.
Yeah, but I'm not speaking about which way is better. I'm saying you as a person, you need to be able to operate within both fields. You feel me? Because there's going to be people that are set in those ways already. Some people might be on this spectrum. Some people might be on that spectrum. And us coming up, like, we can only have our habits up to 20 plus years. You feel me? These people are 40, 50, 60 plus years into their habits already. So them breaking their habits is more than likely not going to happen before you do. So I'm saying is you can be that person, but you have to realize in some situations where it's like, all right, I might have to get a little bit out of my comfort zone to interact with this person because of how they are. And I think that's what she was kind of trying to get you to understand.
No, but then,
like, you have to be.
The only thing against that, bro, is okay. What we're doing right now is we're taking micro situations and then trying to apply that to the macro, and you can't do that. That doesn't work. So on a macro scale, what you're saying doesn't like it wouldn't for his situation, the work he's doing on a macro scale, trying to to every single person. One is a waste of time. Two, you don't help as many people as possible.
Saying
and
that,
three,
though.
you waste time. No, I'm saying what you're saying on a micro scale, yeah, in your personal relationships. When you're dealing with cool, that works.
No,
but now you're talking about helping thousands of people. That doesn't work.
But helping thousands of people, you have to be more of a social person. He just like, yeah, he jokes and stuff.
So what about him would say he's not a social person? Remember, he was a successful salesman who made ridiculous amounts of money selling, and now he's built 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So what about him says he's not successful as a social person?
But
that's a different type
hold up,
results, bro. That's what it's about. Results.
Hold up.
Results.
It's about the results, bro. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. Results. What results? Like you can say, yeah, let's do this, and this. But if what you're saying doesn't work,
Chris, we're not saying apply that to the masses, bro. Yeah. I'm just saying as a person.
Yeah.
I'm speaking about you as a person.
Yes, as a human being.
As a human being, you being able to and I know you personally, you can operate within both realms.
And that's why I'm really like when I'm speaking this way, I do it. I go out and make connections every single day.
I know.
So when I'm saying like, yo, there's certain ways you have to be and like certain ways to do things.
I know that.
It's about like in his situation, like and people do this a lot.
Christian, you would have hung up on her if she would have said that to you. You would have hung up on her.
I have no idea.
No,
I don't think so. And this is something we can't do either. Like we talked about before. We talked about a while ago. I can't. I can't put myself in that situation because, like Asante said before, I have no idea what happened up until that. I had no idea. There's so many variables that go into why that happened. I literally can't say I would do this. I have no idea. I'm just talking on my ass if I do that. What were we talking about before that? You brought that up? Even when I was saying guys in the kitchen, I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
What I told you that I saw on Twitter that someone said to the president, 4 billion baht for Afghan refugees, and someone on Twitter quote tweeted it and was like, but $0 for black people. You know, and like at first I told you, I was like, that's crazy, right? It's funny to think about that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, that's how on a micro level, that's how Christian Lopez feels. When the president is going through the decision, even going out shaking hand, he's not thinking, how is Christian gonna feel? Like I gotta take Christian's emotions into account. I gotta think about how he's feeling. He's not doing that. He's thinking about on a larger scale, what is gonna work? The way I am, the way I'm doing things, what's gonna work for the majority of the people? And that's how they make decisions, and that's how they treat people. That's how they handle things. Because the other way, it's great, but it's can be a time waster. That's why they should say you should spend 80% on your time, 100%, 20% of the people. And
that's why I said you have to be able to operate within both realms because time is money, right?
Yeah.
If I realize like, damn, I really like to get to business. I really like getting this shit done. This guy wants me to fly out for Texas for 2 days. I'm not gonna be able to tend to whatever I can do, but I can, you feel me, leave that and delegate that to somebody else. Me going out there, letting this guy get to know me and making this deal. Yeah. Like this shit is gonna be really big, bro. And then so you being able to do that would be like, all right, like I can break out of my mold a little bit to do that.
And I don't want to lose this thought, bro. What I was gonna say is a lot of people waste quality time with the wrong people. A lot of people will spend an hour a day talking to the wrong people, 3 days a week hanging out with the wrong people because we want to appease and give it right. You shouldn't do that. You should only give your time to people who deserve it. Because that's how you get further in life. That's how you get more things done. Because there's people who ask you for help. And we were talking about it before in the room. People who ask you for help. People who want to pretend like they need your time and want it. You give them advice, spend all this time working. They don't do nothing. But there's someone who will take that advice and really run with it. And you have to decipher when you're on the phone. You have to decipher which one of these people is it, even in your own life. Who is in your life is wasting time. Who in your life is every hour you give them, it's a valuable hour spent.
Yeah. But you also, I think that comes with growing because of the fact that, like, me personally, like, if I was to ask you the question again, like, if I said, how old are you? She said, guess. And I'm like, I'm not playing. Like, just how old are you? And she's still playing around. All right, you're wasting my time. but I can't tell
like,
off that one guess.
Yeah, like,
and he just fucking begged. He's like, and like I said,
and then he was like, "Don't waste my time."
It's
Like,
funny
come on,
because like,
and you know what that does too? The rest of the callers now who are thinking about that,
niggas tighten up.
don't even.
it conditions them. Like,
Niggas tighten up. Yo, that's funny as hell. But nah, all right. So, damn, that was funny because for me, I see both sides. Like, I really do get how serious he is. But then I do see that nigga play around sometimes. But then I see people come in on that play shit. He don't be with it that day. He be like, yo, you got to read the room. Like, he says that
and
shit.
it's
like,
not
so,
even like I don't agree with the things he says because I feel like he's really spitting game to some of these women because sometimes like
and men
talks
a lot of men
because I've heard one video before with this guy. He was saying like,
wait, before you finish, was it a clip or was it a video? I'm asking questions about what you're gonna say.
It was a clip. Anyways, it was a clip of this guy. He was interviewing this guy and he was saying like how he wanted a woman or whatever. But he was saying how he made like only like I think like $1,000 a month or some shit. And he was like, "You're never gonna find a woman because you're like 20 something, only making like $1,000." So he do be cutting up niggas too. But where was I going with this thought? I do agree with what he says. That's where I was going with this. I do agree with a lot of what he says. I just think like, you know, his delivery's a little poor. Like,
no, and we're gonna. I know we and Santi talk. We're gonna start talking about like helping certain things that are important like that, like that are like corporate America, all that stuff. We're gonna start talking about that a lot more because I think, and maybe you can figure out a better way to give truth because there's a lot of truth in what he's saying. Like there's people who have false perceptions of how reality really is or how things work, and they might think that, oh, the world's not working for me, or oh, I'm unlucky, or I'm not fair, and they don't realize, no, you just have false beliefs, which is causing you to do false things and having false beliefs of how the world should work for you. And if we just change some of the beliefs you had, your complete life would revolutionize.
Right.
If you just stop believing the things you believe, and if you have a platform and you know certain things, like Santi was saying before, like even me and Jason are like, oh, what color suit should you wear to an interview? Like you have to know that as a person. Like don't say, oh my God, the manager hate me, and you show up to an office job with a tie,
in a peach suit,
some chino pants, some bachatas, no belt, and your shirt like messy tucked out with a shirt with polka dots on it.
Going crazy.
You can't do that. You get a suit. It doesn't have to be expensive. Get it tailored for $20. Get some nice shoes. Get a belt. Get a nice plain white light blue shirt. Then go get a tie that's not too appealing, very solid colors. Only button the first button. Walk in to your interview nicely and iron your shirt, please.
And the thing is,
that's simple.
Yeah, but people don't know that, Chris.
Yes, they
and
don't.
that's what we need to bring here. Like we need to bring here and start educating people because, like we were talking about too, like you were saying something about somebody going to like an interview with their moms and some guy
told me a story about that.
Yeah, so like it's like things like that. Like we don't know. We grow up with our parents like our whole entire lives, or your guardian, whoever you may grow up with, but it's normally an older figure. So we feel like, you know, they know it all, tell it all. We can learn everything from them. But some things we really, like, they're not going to think to teach us.
Yeah.
And they're not going to, like, you know.
I learned that in school.
Yeah, they're not going to think to teach us or, like, you know, be able to teach us every single thing. Some things we're going to learn being social beings and being out in school and things like this, the podcast. So I feel like we need to educate men and women on, like, you know, I guess what you said, corporate America.
We gotta find a better word for it because I think corporate America is part of a larger conversation.
And it might be a little intimidating for people.
Yeah, the way Kevin Samuel says it is competing. I like that. I like that word, but that's like you're saying. You can't be going up to everybody like you gotta compete.
you gotta compete. You know. Speaking of competing,
what?
I know Chris probably ain't really tuning in, but
what?
There's a popular show going on.
I gotta watch it. I heard. You know me. I heard I gotta watch it.
Show called Squid Game.
Yeah, I only watched episode 6.
Listen,
no other episode.
Right? Boom. We're not gonna. All right, so I ain't gonna ruin it for you. But I'm gonna give her overall take on it. Right? So for the people that have social media,
Yeah.
and I've like seen it this week.
Yeah.
There's been a whole bunch of memes going on about these people.
Yeah.
You'll see like a bunch of Asian people like in a tracksuit.
Yeah, I know the plot.
And so basically, right, for the listeners, it's a game that people signed up for. If you win the game, you win money. If you lose the game, you're eliminated, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just say eliminated.
Yeah, I know the story. I told my boys to tell me everything.
So I thought it was interesting. I'm like, but everyone that was there for the game was all people that were like in debt, not just like broke, like in debt.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that too, bro.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, yo, Chris would go crazy over this because it's like,
let me say something. What really intrigued me about the show, someone told me the plot, and I'm like, these people are running away from their life problems to go play childish games to get away from their problems and solve it. And I'm like, yo, people do that in real life. They have real things going on that they don't want to solve, and what they do, they go run away and play, quote unquote. They don't grow up. They do real childish games, and
that's why I say you go crazy.
They do the wrong things, and it's like, but if they just stopped doing childish game and turned around, and was like, you know what, the situation is bad, but I'm gonna fix my life and go face it head on. It's like people aren't willing to do that and would rather die. Look what they're going through. Going through that to them isn't as bad as turning around and facing their life and saying, I'm gonna go do it.
Yeah.
To me, that's like, whoa, I gotta watch the show.
The show's fucking crazy. With that being said, because I want to say like a million things right now. A million things because I binge watched this show.
Yeah.
I watched it in like a day.
I have one more episode left.
It's so good and so bad at the same time. It's very like gruesome if you don't like things like that, but in the same token, it's kind of like, what can scare you that much that you would put your life on the line? Like, what? I understand what Chris is saying completely, because it's like you saw these motherfuckers like potentially killing people, and you still decided to sign that paper. I don't want to spoil it too much because Chris hasn't watched it yet.
You don't gotta worry about that.
You signed this paper to like go on, like y'all decided to continue or whatever as a group, and it's just like what do you guys ever feel like you could be put in that kind of position?
But I would have left.
Yeah.
Off.
The first time they left, and that's why I was like, yo, I'm gonna fucking bring this up on the podcast. So I know Chris is gonna go crazy. There's so many metaphors in the show.
Yes,
there's
so many shit going on.
Like the fact that some of the people were there, right, and they were quote unquote like good people. They're like, oh, like why would you be here? Why would you be here? But everybody was there for the same reason, like money, right? And I'm like, at what point does my life become more important than monetary gain? Like, I'm sorry, I would rather live my life, fucking be afraid of like loan sharks, the banks coming after me, getting my shit taken away. I still have breath. You feel me? I can still live my life. I could get up and decide to be whatever I want. You feel me? But you putting yourself in a position to where you can possibly die, you feel me? Because of your lack of money. It's like, bro, you're not living for. There's people on this earth that they don't like. Money is just not even a concept to them. Like, they don't even care. They're just like fucking. They don't care debt. They know they can barter whatever they grow and go get something else they need, or they can trade, whatever the case may be. So I'm like, yo, these people are. I'm like, this is all for money, and then seeing people leave, and then come back,
crazy as hell.
I'm like, bro, you were out of it. Like, you had dipped.
Yes.
There's nothing. I'm like, bro, there's nothing in this world that would make me be like, all right, I'm gonna do that.
I need to go back type shit,
bro.
right?
And I'm never gonna do something that's gonna make me feel like that. Like, I believe in if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Like,
fear is one hell of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like?
Well, they were more brave than fearful. I don't even. That's a great point.
No.
Are they more
brave?
Fearful? Are they more brave or fearful?
You think they were brave?
They're cowards.
You think they were brave?
I think that's why I'm laughing. Wow. I think it's both, bro. It is like both. You brave to go out and do a game because the first game obviously you're not brave.
Do you guys know what bravery means?
Yes.
you guys consider these people brave?
No.
It's a question to ask.
This is what I'm saying.
No.
They're crazy.
They're dumb.
They're crazy.
I mean, they're not dumb. Let me not say that. 'Cause
They were.
money make a whole dance. But to do some shit like that is crazy.
But
like,
you know,
come on.
I would say the bravery is in the fact that they thought they could win. Like in their head, they're like, you know what? I can overcome. I can do this.
I think we need to classify bravery for a second,
Yeah.
because you ever seen somebody like, all right,
I'm gonna look that
like
up.
you're in fucking Compton, right? You in a predominantly Crip neighborhood, right?
Right.
And you're not from this area, and you decide to get out your car and take a picture in front of your rental, and you wearing all red. I would look at him and like, yo, that's a brave nigga.
No.
Or
Wait,
some,
Brave?
whoa. See,
Brave?
to her point.
No.
Now,
Yeah.
after he said that, I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
No,
like,
no,
no,
listen.
that's not bravery.
Listen.
As bravery.
We're talking about where we're from, right? Remember how we was talking about the other day, like dead has like 4 or 5 different meanings. In a slang term, that bravery is you're that stupid, or you're like, yo, they're shooting down there. Oh, I'm gonna go that way. Oh, you're a brave nigga. Like,
but
in the
No.
slang term,
But
brave. I'm not
what
talking about
does-
I'm not talking about dictionary bravery. In the slang term dictionary, when you're brave, if you're doing something and you're in the hood and someone calls you brave, that means you're doing something stupid and you need to stop.
So, what I was thinking of when I was looking up is, there's a book by Aristotle called about ethics,
Mhm.
and he said bravery is in the middle of cowardness and being what's how you pronounce this word? Rashness, like being too rash. So in the middle of being like having rash behavior and being a coward, in the middle of those two things is bravery. So with that scale, what he did was rash. Was to say like, if you're like, yo, everybody's shooting over there, I might just go over there.
Yes.
That's not brave. That's rash.
No.
Yeah.
So for context, if there's a building burning,
Mhm.
you feel me? And you signed your life away to protect people,
That's brave.
and you run in that building, you grab people, you bring them down,
That's
you're
brave.
brave.
You're
Yes.
brave.
Now,
But if you go to a hood and you know there's people in that hood that
Mhm.
you got an issue with, and you there by yourself and you had a party with a girl and you end up getting jumped, you was a brave nigga for going over
So,
there, man.
what about
Because
this?
I don't know why you thought that shit wasn't
Now,
gonna
let
come
me ask
back
you
on
this.
you.
He's
Now,
a
say-
stupid nigga.
say a building's burning. Say a building's burning,
Uh-huh.
and you're a pedestrian walking by, and you see smoke everywhere. You run in there to go save them.
Selfless.
But now
That's
what if I tell
brave.
you the guy didn't make it all up the stairs, he choked to death before he made it up. It's rash because you ran in a smoky building with no equipment.
I see
You
what
didn't
you're
think it
trying to
through.
say.
The attempt.
It would have been
The
brave.
attempt was there.
It would have been brave if you were like, oh, I gotta get a face mask.
Yo, let's explore
Yeah.
that for a second. Don't I
You
think it's
thinking-
so funny how attempt, right? Like if you're a guy, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, you might have some juice.
Mhm.
You might be talking to a lady. You might be like, yo, you know what?
Talking to a lady.
Right? You be like, yo, fucking 7:00 tonight. Get ready. Don't worry about where we're going. I'm gonna pick you up.
Ooh.
She might be like, ooh,
I
okay.
like that.
But if you're the wrong person, that attempt just comes off as nigga, no. The fuck?
Absolutely.
You did not try to run these plans through me.
They-
You're not scooping
But-
me.
Yeah,
I'm not
this-
even telling you where I live.
See, now I'm not trying to say now, boom, boom, boom. Now it's brave. It's like we're going back in time.
All right, okay.
Said boom, boom, boom.
It's brave if the guy can take an accurate judgment of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Know he has the pockets. Know he has the look, the image, the look, and the pockets to handle the person he's asking out.
Mhm.
Now, if he doesn't have that,
You're
and
brave,
he
nigga.
knows, and he knows he's about to get, and he knows the type of person gonna get embarrassed. He does it in front of all these
Oh my
people.
God.
Now he's rash. He didn't think that through.
At all. That's crazy.
But he's brave if he knows, like, I could definitely see. So I think action, like if you do things without thinking about it through, then that's like being rash.
Yeah.
Because a brave, like the same thing with the fire guy. If he would have been like, all right, let me grab a face mask, let me cover myself up at least, and then now let me run in.
Mm-hmm.
Brave. But he's like, and just goes. That's rash.
Like, yeah, you was wilding.
And if he sees a girl screaming out the window, a baby screaming out the window, he looks and goes, he's a coward.
Yeah.
So what would be considered brave? Him calling 911?
That's him calling. Like, there's a lot of things, but I think that, like in that situation, just this situation,
Yeah.
if he thinks through how to help and then goes full force to go help the best he can, he's brave. He's rash if he does something out of his capabilities that he knows, bro. He didn't even make it up the stairs.
Right.
Yeah.
So how is that brave? He didn't make it
Word,
up the
like,
stairs.
Yeah, you didn't
like I
say
said,
anything.
attempt, bro. Because like I've seen movies before, where like a person's like, all right, I have the last gun. I'm gonna hold them off. You feel me? Y'all go ahead. And I'm like, damn, he's brave, man. He's gonna fucking sacrifice himself. He's noble. And then I've seen movies where it's like, all right, I'm the weakest person. I'm gonna go on my own and go figure it out. And like, you're the first one killed. It's like,
Right.
but what did you do for anyone just now?
No,
You didn't help anybody.
that's interesting,
Not even
bro.
himself.
Attempt is everything,
So
people.
back to the Squid Game.
Yeah.
After the first game, you didn't know before. After the first game,
Lighting niggas up.
if so, like for the people, like, is it brave or is it rash to be like, I'm gonna stay in?
That shit was rash, bro.
Rash.
That shit was
Rash.
rash, bro.
Because you don't know what the rest of the games look
There's
like, bro.
no justifying that
So
shit.
they really think you could win the whole thing?
That's a rash
But is
decision.
the
That-
person who wins brave, or he's still rash?
No.
He just happened to win.
No.
That's
I think like all jokes aside, like when I was saying brave, like that's just a slang term that I was using. It like you're doing something stupid.
Mhm.
Bravery only comes with like when you're sacrificing something you have
Mhm.
for greater good. That's like a cause that has nothing to do with you.
Mhm.
Like I'm driving down the highway, I see your car's burning. I get out my working car.
Yeah.
My life is not in danger.
Mhm.
I put myself in danger, get a person out of danger. That's a
Yeah.
brave act.
Yeah.
But as far as like you can break it down, like how you said, like that might have been rash
Mhm.
because the car could have exploded because of like
Yeah.
you start breaking it down in those small dimensions. But as far as like brave, unless you risk something you're doing to save someone else
Mhm.
and gain nothing from it besides the fact that you're just trying to save a person,
Mhm.
you can't be brave. Like it's like, oh, like I was in a shootout, 2 of my boys got killed, but I killed all 3 people that shot my 2 boys. You're not brave.
Yeah.
You didn't save anybody.
Yeah.
You didn't risk anything for like, you feel me?
Yeah.
That's not a brave act. Like
Mhm.
I don't know.
It's definitely, and that's the funny thing about like virtue. Like talk about being brave is a virtue. There's no like one set answer. You have to judge things situation by situation.
Well, last year, it was around this time. I want to hear your take on it. There was a football player who got killed, but outside of a party. But like people started shooting, and he shielded another girl and saved her life.
Bravery.
That's brave.
You feel like that's brave? It's not rash.
Brave. He saved the girl's life. I give him bravery.
Yeah,
Okay.
I give him bravery too.
I would say bravery.
He probably saw her, like saw the guy
R.I.P. to that
going
young
and,
man.
Yeah,
like
R.I.P.
go shoot her.
I would definitely call that
Yeah,
brave.
that's definitely bravery. Yeah,
Yeah,
most
man.
of.
I think, like I said, if you sacrificing something, because he could have jumped out the way, he could have did anything, man.
Right.
And you can't call him a coward if he was trying to save himself. Now, if you see a person grab a person to put them in front of them, that's being a coward. That's different. Like that video, you seen that dude grab 2 kids to shield himself.
Wait, what?
He was in like a Chinese food store, and someone ran the store trying to
That's
shoot
not
him.
funny.
He grabbed somebody else's kids and put
What
them
the
in front of him,
No way.
and the shooter didn't hit anyone.
God bless.
Yeah,
They
didn't
got-
hit a kid,
They
didn't hit
need to-
nobody. I'm
They
like,
need
bro,
to
that's-
arrest that nigga
that's
or like
coward.
fine
crazy.
him or some shit.
That's
like
coward.
That's
that's
mad-
like child
madness.
endangerment.
The father got him. Woo.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that dude got locked up.
The father
Yeah,
gotta
he
put it
needed
on
to
him.
get locked up. That's like
You
considered
gotta
like
see me in the ring.
child endangerment, right? Like
You don't think you gotta see that guy in the ring?
Man.
Yeah,
Hmm?
yeah. slap
He's
that
in the
nigga.
ring.
You gotta see him in the ring. You gotta see me in the ring. We have to fight.
That's
like,
that.
You
You
pick.
gotta see a rate in that Chinese store after this
What you say?
thing settles down.
What you say?
The rating on the Chinese store.
Oh.
It's going down right
Oh
there.
yeah, niggas
Yeah.
not fucking with that shit.
I feel
Facts.
you, yeah.
No
Because
doubt.
bro, you pick my son up and try.
And that's why I couldn't be a lawyer. Let the dude that picked the kids up try to pick me to be their lawyer to defend him in court.
I'd be like, couldn't be a lawyer. Couldn't be a lawyer. I never understood that.
That shit is a dumb. But
I'd probably be a good lawyer, but I could never do it.
You'd be a very good lawyer.
I couldn't do it though. I couldn't defend someone I know who's guilty.
morality is
Yeah.
crazy, though.
I couldn't do it. I don't care
Ain't
about
that
the
a
law.
bitch? Isn't there? Okay, so me and my friend kind of like go back and forth all the time because he thinks everything. He takes everything so personal. Like he thinks of everything so morally.
Mm-hmm.
Like that goes.
What's his
against,
basis for morals though?
Like he's Catholic.
Oh, religion.
I ain't
Yeah.
gonna cap.
It's not mostly like
I thought you was gonna
religion.
ask his sign for a
It's
second.
no. It's not mostly.
Come on, guys.
It's not mostly his religion. It's
Yeah.
mostly like he kind of lives by this like principle, like these like codes.
Okay, I
Like
respect that.
he
But what are
doesn't-
they?
it'll be like I don't know, like he's real. He has like 2 or 3 friends.
Bad
and-
results. See, Bad
Like-
results.
Yo, Chris.
Home Island?
Yo,
This
he's like,
nigga is the worst.
like Chris will really make you a part of his brain because I know inside that's what's going on. Like he's just like bad results. He
has-
just said it out
he
loud.
has like 2 or 3 friends. He's like very reserved.
Oh, man.
But like he always takes things so like personal. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like the person I'm talking about, if they hear this, they'll probably know who I'm talking about. That's why I'm like don't want to really talk too much about it. But like we're always kind of arguing about like morality and like ethics. Like he looks at everything as like a personal attack and like, oh, that goes against like my principles. Like I would never do that to them. Like why they do that to me or whatever. And I'm trying to like, we kind of got into this. That's why I didn't really want to go back and forth with you about this Kevin Samuels thing, because me and my friend actually kind of went back and forth about something like this. And he was like kind of arguing with me because like I don't want to go too much into detail.
I don't take things personally.
Either, but
See her through
we
the
were
pipe.
arguing about like a work thing.
Mhm.
So he kind of disagreed on like something that like a friend kind of wanted to get involved in, but he was like talking about like the principles of it, like, oh, I would never do that, and I was kind of like, you got to think of it like ethically, like money wise, like business wise. And I feel like sometimes we get too caught up in like moral, like our morality to like our ethics, like what makes like actual sense.
Yeah.
That's why I understood your point before. That's why I wasn't trying to go like back and forth with you, because I literally just had an argument with
Chris
somebody.
said something the other day, and it developed within me like growing up, but I never thought about it. Like, all right, so you know how you can pass on whatever to your kids, like your looks, you feel me,
Mhm.
different attributes. He was saying like the best thing, I think you might have said it on last episode or in a conversation. He was saying like the best thing like he's taught himself was like he created a list of like his own code of ethics.
Absolutely.
Because like there's things that like were valid when our parents were younger that might be a part of their ethics that like in that time it made sense. But if you don't revise that and you're moving in today's times like thinking like that, it's really like
not beneficial.
yeah, you feel me, detrimental like
I was just
to
about
everything.
I was just about to say that again when you talk about ethics,
Yeah.
because I realized like that's why I asked him what kind of ethics he has, because some people believe like whatever the law says is true.
Right.
Like whatever the law says I should do, I'm gonna do. Whatever religion says I'm gonna do, I should do. Whatever this says I should. But I mean, personally, bro, I just like to read everything and be like, well, I like this, so I believe that. You know what I mean? I like to
Right.
make my own, because I feel like you haven't. A lot of people just inherit some things from their parents, political parties, whatever. But if you don't think about it through on your own, then how do you know you're not doing something foolish? You know, so. But everyone does things their way.
My dad actually, like, we were all baptized Catholic,
Mhm.
but they didn't give us like all of our sacrament. Like, they kind of allowed us to choose like if we wanted to do the rest of our sacraments until we were like older,
Yeah.
until we like understood the religion. My dad was super like big on like, he used to read the Torah to us. He used to like read the Quran. Like, he's one of those. I think I always tell you guys that.
Yeah.
So like he is super knowledgeable on everything and all different types of religion. So he was never the type to be like, oh, you have to follow this or follow that. He
Yeah.
was like the type to, you have to find yourself in whatever you feel is comfortable for you and can help you get through your day to day before, you know, we can't decide that for you.
That's important. To understand
Essential,
something,
bro. It's
Mhm.
essential,
to understand
bro.
something, you have to like understand everything around it.
Absolutely.
Like, I know what I like is what I like because I know what I don't like.
Right.
You feel me? Like, there's people that be like, oh, like I like this. I like Spanish food. I like this. Like, oh, you ever tried? No, I never tried that. It's like, I've tried the shit to say I don't like it.
Right.
But at least I've tried it. Like, you have to put yourself in those different realms. But switching gears, we're going to take a little break. You feel me? Song of the week. This week is another local artist. You feel me? This family right here. This is my boy, Thump. This is off his new project. This is Flex Up Part 4.
I love you, Poppy.
Tired of waiting, I I needed to flex. Swear this ain't a form of entertainment, I came here to vent. Pussy rookie niggas tryna come and compete with the best. Even the biggest dogs had to come and get checked by the vet. Waited on a drop for so long that I came with a tent. If I had to choose to make a move, I'm moving like Lex. With that being said, then my biggest move is what's happening next. I started doing more, so how the fuck could I settle for less? And when I say moving like Lex, don't mean I'ma move to the west. It means that I'm strategizing my moves like they do it in chess. You know how they make all they moves to set up what's happening next. I swear I could never rest with the thought of me next to the rest, for real though. Talking to my gang like who the one for me. No, it ain't so-and-so, but she got a good run for me. And I heated everybody up. I made every bitch hot at one point in their life, and none of them got a son from me. Cousins that I once knew no longer got love for me. Damn K, damn S, tell me where the love at. Fuck it, I ain't tripping, it's gon' come back. You know it always come back. Yeah, for real. I'm probably one of the fewest who hasn't seen the M, at least not yet, but still an influence. All the facts have been proven, they start to talk, but I'm muted. It's hard to listen to a bunch of motherfuckers that's clueless. I know you feel me, dawg. I'm often known as the truest linguistics master and speaking real, man, I swear I'm so fluent. I go from Mary to Lewis, house to house with the movement, and we ain't singing shit for free. I need a check just to do it. They often mention my music, is it really that you don't like it? Or your girlfriend abusing while she cruising with the stereo on? Singing all my songs, got her best friend singing along. Still scared to break you, so she'll never go post it at all. But I know you know that she knows all of the songs, drama and arguments, I'm the reason, the cause of it all. How you lose the only girl that love you over a song, and I ain't even on. Yeah, I got a dream to go from tight ass planes to private jets. I hustle then hustle again, that's how my time gets spent. I see the bar loading, bars almost done loading. Waited my whole life for this to load, I know what's coming next. You the type to see the bar load, get nervous and then fold, just to go back home so you can press refresh. That means you losing faith, lacking discipline on what you stand for. Got your hand out like the landlord when he come to grab the check, not realizing that even though your hand's out, you short arm the T-Rex. I know we all got different doors, but when it's all said and done, we got the same 24. You just chose to rest, don't be mad at me for what's coming next. The only time your time is different is when you looking at the guy to your left. And notice how he shine different. Watch on his wrist, cost a fortune and you can't afford it. You can say your time's less. The only time we got different time is when we talking rollies, APs, and protects. Other than that, we got the same 24, so don't be mad at me cause you chose to rest. The fuck? Texting Alicia, she said I seen you out on vacay, you there with your ex. I hit her back, I'm like bye Felicia, you got a nigga too, so why the fuck is you even pressed? We did what we did, at this point man it is what it is. I know my other ex will probably never forgive me for all the shit I put her through, the shit that I did. Like the time I made her abort the kid, and that's fucked up. You gotta understand the way we live and where we come from. Can't go with your heart, go with your gut, or you'll be stuck up in the same place like all these motherfuckers. Yeah, damn. I block the blessing and I learn my lesson. Not just anybody in these streets, so I gotta start moving with protection. Don't have relations with none of my lessons. I chose that word to best describe how I feel about exes. Hard to accept it when you thought that shit once was a blessing. I keep on learning, that's the reason I never regret it. I see the messages, but I just keep swiping like debit. Never got caught cheating, but then again, never got credit. So that means I'm extra faithful, I learn to perfect it. And you could call it what you want, but you gotta respect it. Cause I'm receiving love from people who don't want the best for me. And from a distance, I'm watching who they pretend to be. Guess that's the reason why everyone is upset with me. Cause Vaughn and Joey V is the closest they'll ever get to me. Gotta watch the niggas that be around me and my enemies. Always stay on 50, been a recipe. Told her if she love me, bring a friend for me. Cashed out on my dogs to spend like 10 apiece. Niggas know I'm riding to the death for me, for real though. Now this and it just won't do. Trying to make it through to the other side. I made it easy. Now this and it just won't do. Trying to make it through to the other side.
that was Song of the Week. That was Flex Up Part 4 by my boy, my very good friend Thump, off his new project, Tired of Waiting.
Shout out Thump. You know why shout out Thump? Because how many artists today are actually talking about what's going on in their lives? You know, I mean, a lot of people are selling lies in music nowadays, and he actually spoke about something that was real, situations that happened to him. So I actually really appreciated that song. So shout out Thump, man. You should check it out.
The song is tough.
And what is part 1, 2, 3? I'm so sorry. Continue.
I fuck with the beat. Real tough. Like the song. Keep going, Thump.
Yeah, that's my guy right there.
What does 1, 2, 3 sound like?
1, 2, 3.
I only heard 4. Yeah.
All vibes.
Yeah.
All vibes, man. You gotta, he got a couple projects out, man.
Nah, yeah.
He got
like
2 on Apple Music, and he has a lot of stuff that was hitting early on SoundCloud. Feel me, like 2013, 2014. He had a single that was huge in this area.
Stay consistent, bro. That's
Yeah,
what it's about.
but I mean, Thump, to me, he's the definition of like working on your craft, because you feel me. I'm not gonna he's my friend, and I know like everyone doesn't know who he is, but whenever I do show people who is like his music, they always like kind of take to it, and it's because he's working on his craft and he builds confidence within himself. Like he moves like everybody on the planet knows who he is. You feel me? So I think when he gets to that point, I do think he is gonna reach that pinnacle. Like he'll be ready for it, because like he already understands like the mission that he's on. Like he's gonna put the best projects out. He's gonna put the best into his work. Like I've been in the studio with him, and just the way he works, man. Like he doesn't really do too much that's like different than like other artists, but you can just see that like people being there listening to it, like talking to him, whatever. Like he'll be in his own mind, like crafting like the next sound or how he's gonna do things. Like he taught himself how to sing. He's has the melodic. He has real rap. He has a whole bunch of different things, bro. And that's why I always appreciate his music. You feel me? It's my boy, London Boys to the death. You feel me? Burn Boys, all that shit. It's an insider right there from high school. But yeah, that's my guy right there, man. Good project, great song, better person.
I enjoyed it for sure.
I definitely enjoyed the song.
And you feel me? We got an interview coming out soon, scheduled with Thump. You feel me? You're gonna catch it. It's gonna be on the page.
How did he come up with his name?
Thump.
Whoa. Isn't there an interview coming out?
Oh, okay.
Let him get out.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Okay.
you ask.
Feel me?
Let Mr. Thump talk for himself.
Tune into that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Leif with expertise right there. That's HR if you ain't know.
Yeah, know.
But yeah.
I got an issue with HR.
Project was what's your issue with HR?
What's your issue with HR?
No, I'm gonna talk about. I'm mature. I'm not gonna present my issue to HR in public. That's not right.
Wow, she said not in public.
But what happened?
I don't know. I'm gonna write something up. What's the process? You tell me.
Okay, you can email me.
Email you? What's your email?
I don't know. I'm gonna write up an HR email for us.
Okay.
And I'm gonna send it to you.
Can it be anonymous? I don't want the person to know it's me.
Oh, he's complaining about other employees. Who are you complaining about?
It can stay anonymous.
You guys not gonna know it's me.
That's crazy. Well, we will, because if she brings up a complaint, you're the first person to formally complain to HR, so you gotta wear that jacket, buddy.
Nope. That's not how it works.
What do you mean it's not how it
HR
works?
has to keep your identity private.
Yes,
but if
that's
she,
very true.
if you have a
Jace, it was you.
if you have a discretion, right? And she brings up said discretion to have it resolved.
Yep.
We know that said discretion coming from HR is you.
Well, then that's another issue. If you know it was me, then that's another issue.
No one else has filed a complaint.
Haven't filed a
So
complaint.
don't be the first to complain.
How you know it's me?
Because no one else complained.
Now, what if one of y'all complain and try to frame me?
Nah, didn't spill the beans all right here. Maybe you could have did that.
Nope. You guys might try to frame me, and now Jace
All
gonna
right.
really complain.
Listen,
He could have possibly did that.
we gonna have to talk.
We gonna talk about it.
If y'all need to, email me about anything.
I mean, I want to complain about this right now.
Okay. What do you want to complain about?
This.
What is this?
Is there a higher up I can talk to?
No, there's just
Because I feel like you're not being helpful.
there's just me.
Nah, that was a little joke we was running before. Do you think there's some of these fucking places that like they have an HR guy that he's like the nastiest person in the building? He's just fucking walking around saying and doing whatever he wants. He's like, nice skirt, toots. It's like, oh god, this is 1934.
Who do you complain to?
Who do you complain to?
At that point, I feel like you gotta go
There
to
gotta be
like
a super
CEO, like head of company, right?
A lot of that shit don't even cross their desk. I feel like.
Yeah, they don't really give a fuck either.
People care.
Nowadays, now there's
in 2021.
yeah.
There's different.
There's
Alright.
a lot of awareness.
Morally, if that does
Yeah.
happen, right? What do you think that process should look like? How do you?
What HR? You gotta go. He's getting fired.
Yeah, but like who as a you're the employee, right? You're going
Yeah.
through it.
Now he goes to the head of HR would go to not the CEO, not the CFO, not the CMO. There's a name for it.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what it's called, bro. I know the guy who does it for our company.
Yeah,
But it's up that level. It's like CEO, CFO, CTO. He's one of them.
yeah.
And you would go to him for it.
Okay.
I know the guy's name. I just don't know his position title.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gotta go to like higher ups.
Damn.
Honestly,
It's like who you go to police about the police.
The police.
Well, technically,
police.
we are their boss.
Who?
Technically,
Who's we?
the people.
Mm.
Shit, niggas ain't clocking in on my
It
time.
is.
You feel me? But yeah, there's some shit going on in the world, man. You feel me?
Yeah.
Government going broke.
Oh yeah.
Niggas ain't about to have no chicken. Lay had something she wanted to bring up.
Oh yeah, there's an oil spill on the coast of California. There's like hundreds of thousands of gallons spilled.
Is
They
Lake a
don't.
whistleblower?
Yo, Chris, shut up. You know what that means?
Yeah, it's like a snitch.
Yeah.
It's like a good time.
It's a good snitch.
It's like
It's a good snitch.
just call me a snitch.
Who's
Like
the
a political snitch.
Who's the more prolific whistleblower? Bob Lazar or Eric Snowden? Edward, right? Edward
Who's
Snowden.
the one that told everyone that the government was watching him?
Snowden.
What the other guy do?
Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
He talked about all Area 51 and everything else.
I think the government's watching you was a little bit.
The Patriot Act.
Yeah.
They was wilding.
Yeah.
They listening right now. What's good?
They
boy?
are listening to me. They need to listen to me. Y'all niggas need to figure out what's going on in our fucking water, okay? This is
I know what's
getting
going on
out
in
of
this
hand.
water.
There's way too many spills. And this talking about they don't know where it came from. They don't even know where the spill's coming from, but so the fact that they don't know where it's coming from means that they haven't stopped it yet. Means that the oil is still spilling. From like their calculations now, it's like 136,000 gallons, like estimate.
Do you know what, when you clean up oil in the ocean, what happens to the oil cleanup? Is it just because it doesn't? I don't know if the proper term, it goes away. Like, what do they do with the oil clean? Is it like separate? Water and oil doesn't mix. So is it just right?
No, they have the oil rigs and they skim it off the.
Yeah,
I remember because
like,
when what was the spill that happened a couple of years ago? We were in like middle school. It was like the second biggest to the Exxon Valdez.
So there's a big spill close to Venezuela that they're not fixing. I think
The Gulf of Mexico. Remember what happened? The fucking pipes blew.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So when that happened, my teacher was like, my science teacher was really passionate about it, and like we like really explored it. And I remember learning in class, they were saying that they have these things that they like skim the top of the water for all the oil that does, resurface. But a lot of that water goes into like natural things. So there's like reefs. What is the fucking plural for reefs? Reefs?
A reef?
Reefs?
Coral reef?
Reefs. I don't think it has a plural.
Reefs. That feels wrong, but
Reefs.
reefs. Fuck.
Reefs.
Reefs. Like a bunch of different like things, like ecosystems, like they would actually like obtain the oil, whatever, and the oil be trapped in like different places that it's not supposed to be.
Did you guys hear this? I don't know if it's true. They said like the Gulf of Mexico, the oil spill. Now it caused more fish and stuff to come back because people weren't there. Like the oil spill, they stopped working in those areas. Like they got stayed away from. The fish and stuff actually came back. Like there was more life of fish there than there was before the oil spill.
Maybe because like people weren't.
I I don't know. There was years, I think after too, and we're gonna get back to the current one, but there was years after, like Jay-Z even said it in line, and you just said more life, and I think he said it on more life. No, that was fucking nothing was the same. But he said the oil spill at BP it still ain't cleaned up, and then I forgot what he said after that. But there was years after that where they cleaned a big portion of it, but there was still a lot of oil still in that water, and even with the Exxon Valdez, bro, they just give up a lot of times. But the oil spill now. Yes. I feel like it's a lot harder, which is the same issue they had with Gulf of Mexico. Exxon Valdez was a rig carrying oil, and the oil spilled and the oil's on top. Mm-hmm. So you have to worry about the oil trickling down. These are pumps in the water. That's pumping into water, and it's going up. So and then it's at depths that like you have to dive to get down there.
So they can't even get down there.
Even trying to cap, bro. That's why it took them so long to cap the Gulf of Mexico. Literally,
they don't even know where it's coming from. It's literally
they're trying to figure it out. Yeah. Can they turn the pipes off?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah.
I think like they like bust and they gotta like fix them.
This is where we start getting to the area where I have absolutely zero knowledge.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how none of this works. We need to get a professional.
And that kind of stuff like really like long term like is really gonna affect like our water life, like our wildlife, but in the water, like there's dead birds like falling from the sky, like literally just falling.
Do we know anyone who has? Do you guys know anybody who's an expert in this stuff?
No.
My best friend's older sister is a marine biologist.
We need her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tell her pull up.
Yeah, no, seriously, I would love to have this
conversation. Tell her pull up.
I'm gonna talk to her one day.
The issue is, bro, like when do we get to the point of overdevelopment? I saw a commercial the other day. Right? Where it's like, all right, we realized that we don't need to be in straw houses in December and we're going to die.
Yep.
So we built homes. We built fiberglass to insulate the houses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those are things we need, all right?
Mm-hmm.
We figured out, like, all right, we got a TV. The old hatchback TV. Those aren't the best for the environment. We figured out slimmer, smarter, smaller phones, all this Siri, all this stuff, right? They have Google Assistants now. And they have ring lights, ring cameras. Yeah, you should be able to see who's at your door before you go into the door.
Come on.
But now they have the Google thing where I saw it was like the guy's cutting carrots and he's like, Google, open the front door. And it opens the front door for their guests, right? First off.
How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's amazing.
I don't like shit like that.
I don't like shit like that.
That's amazing.
I don't because you see how easy, bro. People hack into banks.
Yeah,
people hack into very simple stuff. People hack into Zoom.
But bro,
the
thing with the two, you gotta understand is like cybersecurity is also evolving out of way where it's getting like for instance, someone created blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's impossible to hack a blockchain.
Okay.
So like it's cybersecurity is also advancing with these things at the same time.
True. But granted, when do we reach a point to where it's like now Tesla's making like in-house robots that are like live assistants?
Bro, they're making
you can send the assistant to go make you some toast and it'll bring you back fucking toast to your bed.
That's hard.
When do we get to the point of overdevelopment to the point where like we're doing things that we don't need? We're clearing land to build more malls. We're doing like, bro, the little garden that was like in Patterson by the bank, by the PNC Bank on Park Ave by Grandma's house. I went down there the other day. They cleared that whole lot. They built up apartments right there.
Yeah, bro. It goes back. I think all that. See, it goes back to morals, right? I think as long as you can, because humans are amazing. Like our brain, our power is infinite. We don't know how far it can go, so we never know what humans are gonna make up 100 years from now. It's gonna keep going. But at the same time, the conscience of a human being has to develop at the same time, because you have to do all these things with this idea of we can't cause negative harm to other people in the earth. You know what I mean? Because like you read the book Power of Now. In the 21st century, like modern times, we've created machines and tools that can kill ridiculous amounts of people in an instant. You know what I'm saying? You could drop like a gigantic bomb on US and half the US would be gone. So, but technology keeps
speculation, people.
But you have to develop the conscience of people so at the same time, humans know, remember what happened to Japan when we dropped the nuclear bomb on them? As a society, we should never do something like this again because look how bad that impacted Japan. But that type of consciousness and care and empathy has to develop at the same time. But technology shouldn't stop, because look, imagine we had these robots, right? And during the pandemic, how nice would it have been if we could have just sent them all to go take care of all the elderly, have them taking care of the elderly, keep the people who might be sick away, less people in nursing homes would have died. So technology is great if only it's getting used for the right causes. People understand, we still need the gardens. We still need the trees. We still need the water to be clear. Let's innovate so these things can work better and we don't interfere with nature.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is like when you start to see things like, all right, like now we're getting to a point where like we're creating things that are just astronomical. It's ridiculous, out of like a whole sci-fi movie, right? And I think the goal now should be, it's like, all right, one, we need to increase sustainability, right? So how is this thing gonna run? And how do we run it on a power source that, one, isn't creating a lot of emissions, isn't increasing the already huge carbon footprint that we already have, and on top of that, it's something that's like eco-friendly to society, right?
Yeah.
I think if you have those things, you set those goals first, and then you create innovation around that, it'll be more important. Because like people talked about like, oh, like I'm not talking about like the whole 5G caused corona, but like there was a big concern about like the radiation that 5G might give off, and like it's like, yeah, it's faster, it's this, is that, but how is this gonna?
I don't know the truth to that either.
I know, but it's like how does this interact with our environment versus how the old cell towers did, right? And it's like these things are already bad, right? We know it for our society, we know it for our habitats. We're like, we know we shouldn't be clearing more forests, but they're clearing more forests.
They gotta stop cutting down the Amazon. That's the biggest.
Exactly. Like we know these things shouldn't be happening, but they're still happening. So I'm saying, like, what point do we reach like overdevelopment to where we're just like we're fucked, bro?
And I don't even think from a teacher's standpoint, I don't think overdevelopment is the issue, because you can develop the world without cutting down the Amazon forest. It's that people's morals are out of whack.
Yeah.
As the average human's morals and conscience as a human race, our conscious and awareness of stuff is out of whack. You know what I mean? Because if we were consciously aware of everything, we would understand humans only exist because other things exist.
Mm-hmm.
The same way a flower, right? Wherever you see flowers, you'll find insects that pollinate the flowers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If insects stop pollinating flowers, there are no more flowers.
Right.
So to say that an insect that pollinates in a flower is separate things also doesn't make sense, because they can't exist without each other.
Exactly.
So they're actually one. So when you start to understand that the world works like that, and humans are actually codependent on trees, we're codependent on the ocean, we're codependent on all these things, you realize if I eliminate them, I then in fact eliminate myself. And when we can really like
retweet
understand that, we'll stop doing a lot of things as a race, a human race that we do. You know.
And I with all that being said, it's like, yo, we got everything we need. We need to start looking at the things that, how do we, scale back some of those things that we've done. They claim the ozone, the whole ozone layer is closing up. That's getting beautiful. Better. They claim that the smog and everything in LA and in Chicago and all these places are getting better. It's like, all right, so if we're taking steps in the right direction, we can't be counterproductive in parts like this, because it's like that's gonna be a whole part of our ecosystem that we're gonna have to like pay attention to be OD now. Like before, they're like the Great Barrier Reef, right? There was a whole bunch of garbage and a whole bunch of issues that was happening there. Like they saved a lot of the things that were going on. They reversed a lot of the damage that was happening. A lot of the ecosystems and stuff are thriving there again. But it's like, bro, we can't now forget about the steps that we took in that direction. Like now we start polluting that water again. We start dumping garbage into that water again because of something else that's going on. It's like, oh, they're not paying attention over here now. It's like, It's like the freaking, what is it? The three card Monties. Like, this is moving here. You're looking at that and it's really over there. It's like, you can never really, it's like whack-a-mole, bro. Like you hit one thing down and it's going to pop up in another place. So I think we all just have to be more mindful of like how we're doing things. Like, you feel me? Just try to treat this place like we trying to be here for a fucking while, please.
Treat everything like that, bro.
Yeah, you gotta, like, I think we kind of look past like the bigger things like this because we have like these little smaller things implemented, like the recycling and the topical things, like they're making these smart cars and shit like that we can see. So I feel like people are like, yeah, we're getting more eco-friendly, but then we have bigger things like these oil spills, or even like, stop throwing shit out your fucking windows.
Yes.
Yo, I think I posted some shit the other day that was just like, bro, like, come on, like, take care of your earth. Like there's mad shit going on for you to like literally throw it on your floor in your car and pick it up later.
I think, bro, to me, the only way that happens, even if you take it on a micro scale, like just your community or our relationship, for instance, people tend to mentally, like, it's like you feel like you're your body and there's this barrier around your body and that's just you and you're separate from everything else. Like even if you told someone to point to themselves, they'd probably point to their head. Right. Not realizing, no, this whole thing is you. Right. But just back to like relationships, people will damage their community or damage a relationship because they view themselves separate from that person or thing. They don't view themselves as one with it. You know what I mean? Because if you view yourself as one with it, then you wouldn't harm unless you don't love yourself. That's a whole other conversation.
You're not addressing it in the correct manner. Like we had that joke last week, and Jace made a point when I saw him on Wednesday. That shit was funny as hell. We made the joke. They're like, oh, they're whipping people on horses. They're like, all right, we'll get rid of the horses. Like they're focused on the wrong things, right? Yeah. And then Jace had a fucking the little plastic thing, like the 6-pack. And then Jace was like, you remember like a couple years ago they were telling us cut this because it keeps ending up around like turtles, like mouths, and like they can't eat and stuff like that, and dolphins and stuff. He was like, they never brought up the fact that the problem was that why is this garbage in the middle of the ocean? They're just telling you like, oh, it's gonna end up there, but cut it. You feel me? Yeah. Like the issue isn't that it's getting stuck around. It's in the water.
Plastic in the water.
Have you ever seen Seaspiracy?
No.
So consumer plastic that we have only makes up like, I think, someone can find the exact stat, like 30% of the plastic in the ocean. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like 60% of the plastic in the ocean, in the garbage, it's from fisher nets. Of them trying to catch fish and catch stuff and dumping the nets in the ocean, which then creates the foundation for the plastic islands and stuff, for the garbage islands in the middle of the ocean. Mm-hmm. The foundation of it is the fisher nets.
Cause that shit holds.
And bro, those are the people who are really ruining the ocean. Like, cause they say you go to catch salmon in the ocean, right? Yeah. But what ends up in your net is whales and sharks and other fish. What do? You kill it and throw it back over. Or what do? You kill it and maybe cut the fins off and sell the fins, even though it's illegal. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Black market shit.
So, bro, the actual overfishing of the ocean.
What want with fins?
I don't know. What do people want with a lot of things they buy?
Yeah, in certain countries they love it. Yeah, in certain countries.
Yeah, is it?
Very popular.
It's a delicacy?
Really? It's very popular in certain countries.
What are certain countries? Is it?
Catch the shark, cut the fins off, and then throw it back in the water.
That's wild.
Nah, I watched I think, were you in that class with me when we were younger? Yeah. We watched that film about like the remember they had the illegal dolphin sanctuary in like Japan. What the fuck? And the sanctuary was armed with like militia. And it's like a actual recording of like these like 4 people. They're investigators and they were like reporters. They had to like scuba dive to get into the island. They had to show proof. They had dolphins there. They had seals there. They were just like putting the seals on like dry land and just like whipping, like just abusing the animals for no reason. So they ended up like releasing the dolphins that was there. But it was just like, bro, the stuff that you would see them do, like you see how like the SeaWorld, they have like the dolphins like swim up and stuff. Right. They would do that, try to get the dolphin to do something. If it didn't do it, just like hit it with like a stick and shit. My God, I was like, yo, this shit is so inhumane.
And like me,
it's craziness.
I don't eat a lot of meat. Like that's just not. Only on special occasions. I eat plants most of the time. Mm-hmm. And me, I'm not a big one of like, oh, don't kill animals, because I'm like, I believe in, at the end of the day, say another animal was above us on the food chain, they would eat us.
Yeah, of course.
But what I don't agree with and what I'm really against is like the inhumane, like that's the unnecessary.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You shouldn't, like if you're like, say you live on the coast and you have to dive for your food. You have to go in and get fish. Like, cool. You take what you need for food, or maybe you're a fisherman, you sell it. Yeah. But if you're like, some people killing whales and animals because they want to hunt them for fun, or they want to just be like the Moby Dick, they just want to conquer. But it's like, bro, and the same documentary said, what people don't realize is whales and stuff cool the ocean, right? So when you eliminate them, the ocean heats up.
Mm-hmm.
So some fish were like boiling in the middle of the ocean, and people saying, "Oh, global warming." Well, the ocean makes up what 70% of the Earth.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying this is exactly facts, but if you think about it a little, if the ocean's warming up and it makes up majority of the Earth, wouldn't the warming up of the ocean also warm up the planet, which might be directly affecting global warming?
Yep.
Exactly.
So you need these animals who live in the ocean and cool it, and like the gas they release from their stomachs and it cools the ocean. Like you need them,
bro. We all have like a chain. Like there's a chain of life. You know what I mean? Like we all, like, even us, we're supposed to, you know, be born, live our lives, get married. It's a whole chain. These animals are put in this ocean for a reason. Technically speaking, I don't even think we supposed to be swimming in no oceans. You know what I mean? Like, this is something God's creation.
You have to respect the land as well. Like that was the whole thing about hunting back in the day. And like one of my roommates from prep school, shout out Bolton, my boy Colin. He's from PA. His family hunts, and I remember one week his mom was like, "Yeah, we went out hunting this week. I'm gonna bring you some stuff down."
Bring you some what?
Stuff down. He had venison, right, which is deer. He had jerky. He had chili. He had soup. He had a sandwich. He had venison steak. Everything. He was like, my family believes like you have to use every part of it, because if you don't, like, you're disrespecting the animal. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, like he was telling me, he's like, bro, like he knows like people that like his father's like got into fights with because they're like killing shit and wasting it. It's like, bro, that animal gave you the ultimate sacrifice of their life, so the least you can do is use every part of it to nourish your body. And there was a vulture 1 year like in my yard. It just kept like stalking the neighborhood. It was like on like the back, because it was like a dead family of like raccoons, some shit. And my brother's like, "Oh, I'm gonna shoot it." He's like, "I'm gonna shoot it with the BB gun, with a BB gun." My dad was like, "Unless you plan on eating it, don't touch it." And he's like, "Why?" He's like, "Why can't I just kill it?" He's like, "What are you killing?" He's like, "That thing serves a purpose somewhere else. It may not serve a purpose in your life, but that thing has a job. It has a job to an ecosystem. So you killing it, at least make it beneficial to yourself. Like, don't kill anything and not eat it. Like, anything, like, I went fishing before. I caught rainbow trout. Like, my dad, I took that shit home. My dad skinned it, fucking gutted it, made sure he cooked it. Like, he's like, I'm not gonna let you bring home fish from these fish are caught for a reason. Feel me? And for me, a Jamaican thing, that, you know what I'm saying,
bro. That's like, that's what the concept of Lion King's about, bro. Scar becomes whatever, the king of the pride. What does he start doing? He starts over hunting the land. What happens to the land? It starts to die out. And Simba has to come back. Flea boys. Simba has to come back, take over the pride, and bring back order to the entire ecosystem, bro. And it's like, that's humans. Look at that as humans, bro. Like, yeah, we're top of the food chain. Just because you have the power and you're the top of the food doesn't mean you overdo it. Don't overhunt. Don't overkill. Bro, just take from this earth what you need and nothing more.
Exactly.
You know, but everyone has their own, I guess, philosophy.
Snaps. That has been our environmentalist section for this.
We need someone who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, no. I'm definitely gonna ask my my girl about her sister and see if she still like does that. But I know that she graduated college in marine biology and she was doing like a little internship and shit.
Love your earth, love your hood. You feel me?
People.
Keep everything good. Yeah. And lastly, but definitely not least, Chris wanted to tell us about
oh my God,
him in the shower today. He said he wanted to get on the mic and descriptively tell us about his shower,
right, man. So,
start to finish.
I like to turn the shower not too hot. I like to be steamy, but maybe crack it of cold water. I'm joking. But no, when I was in the shower, I was thinking of him, and I was listening. You know, obviously, we started this conversation. I listened to Kevin Samuel's video, and he had a caller on, and he gave the caller advice, and he said to them, he goes, "What I see a lot with this younger generation is they date without a purpose. Like, they just go around, you know, whatever, living their best life, dating all these different people.
Trying to have fun.
Trying to have fun.
Girls.
But he said what you really should do is, out of respect, you should only date people with a purpose. So, like, say right? You want to be married. Like, in your heart, you want to be married. If you're going to date someone, then you should know if in whatever 6 months to 2 years, is that person want to be married too? Because if the person doesn't, then what are you dating them for?
Yeah.
There's no reason to date them, because now you can't, at the end of 2 years, he doesn't ask you to marry, be upset when, one, you never even asked, and two, he told you he wasn't trying to be married. So, but most people, even from the show, every time he asks someone, they're like, no, I never said it. No, we never had the conversation. And it's a little bit different from past generations where that was always like, you know.
Yeah, that was like the thing.
So you think people, like our generation is missing that? Like, should we be up in front and like,
Hell
yo,
yeah.
I want to be married in 2 years?
People don't want to get married now.
Yeah.
I do.
To be honest, I think you should have a upfront. Wow, I almost said.
And on the first, like, it should be like a first 3
yes,
thing, right?
You should have a conversation of all the things that are fucking. You shouldn't be talking about politics, religion,
kids,
sexuality, kid. Because like, if you're with someone, they're like, all right, yeah, they want to be married, check. Yeah, they believe in religion, check.
Yeah, they're
but
single.
If yeah, they're single. But if we had a kid and our son told us that, you know, he was, I don't know, identified as something else, right?
How would you react to that?
How would that person react to that? Like, if that's a person that's like, oh, I'm gonna disown that kid, that they might not be a progressive person, and they may not think that. All right, like I can't be with somebody like that. Or you might be a person that's like, you know, I'm really biblical. I wouldn't be able to like lead my kid against that journey. It's like, all right, nothing against you, but just you think differently. You feel me? Like there's people that deal with things and people, and there's deal breakers already set into place, and they just prolonging it. It's like this person told you they don't want to be married, right? You're with them for 5, 6, 7 years. All you want is to be married. You don't think that's eventually going to hit a wedge in the relationship? Where it's like, damn, this not gonna work no more. Because yeah, at that point, you want two different things. Like you have to make sure that the person you're dating is, one, still the person you're dating because people change, and two, you got to make sure that they're a person that like everything. Y'all not a puzzle. I mean, when they say you're a puzzle piece, like puzzle pieces, they connect on different levels. Yeah, man. Not every level is gonna connect. You feel me? So you just have to make sure certain things, like those big ticket items, are fucking things that are gonna mesh with each other. Like, bro, if you don't want kids, I want kids. Eventually, someone's gonna resent someone. Yeah, you want to get married, I want to get married. Eventually, someone's gonna resent someone.
Right. You're absolutely right.
So this is DGT telling you. So that's the first 3 dates, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You gotta. So what's everything that should be covered in the first 3 dates?
Okay, so all right.
Like, imagine them just like Jonathan interviews.
Like in this generation, first of all, in this generation, right now, the divorce rates are high. People are growing up in houses where like people are not married. People are seeing that you can be successful, raising kids without being in a marriage. So back in the day,
what's successful?
You know what I mean, like. People can financially sustain by themselves and have a kid.
But does that make it successful though?
No, it doesn't necessarily make it successful because kids do need a male and a woman figure. Like I believe they do need that. It doesn't mean that your child's not going to be successful. It just means that like maybe there's some
well-mannered, respectful, and they're taken care of. They're taken care of.
Right. So I think with that being said, it's a very different culture. Back in the day, like they didn't have sex before marriage, or like, you know, for you to come in. I mean, they were having sex before marriage.
Right,
you
know
what I mean?
Capping us now.
Yeah, but they're more marriage based. Like for you to come in a house, you know, for you to be introduced to my parents, like you gotta make sure that for you to take me out, you gotta make sure you're introduced to my parents and all these things. Like it was way different. Now it's like. We kind of just all go out, and it's like
we're talking.
Yeah. Like some
yeah, me
bullshit.
and daughter, we in a talking phase right now.
We're doing, we're running circles and shit like that, and I do feel like we do need to buckle down because like for generations like after us, they need to see like they need to understand. Yeah, it needs to come back to like family and structure.
Back to what I was saying before, bro. Results. So if you know 1 in 4 of one demographic group marries, if you know 60% of divorce rates, marriages end in divorce, and the second marriage is even worse. If you know, like I said, this demographic of people aren't even getting married, you can at least say, okay, the way we're doing things doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we got to do something different. You know, so obviously this whole talking, dating, being in 10 relationships by time, like the human being at the end of the day, he made a good point. The human being psyche isn't meant to be in 10 serious relationships in their life. That's a traumatized person. That now when they try to date the 11th person, they're still thinking about the past 10 and everything. That's a traumatized.
I always thought about that. And then a person will sit there and say they were in love. Everyone in a relationship.
Traumatized.
How?
I can't believe that.
Traumatized.
Like I've been in relationships where I felt like I loved the person, and then like you'll be in a situation later like, oh, maybe I wasn't loved. Maybe I was seeing it through
lust.
People
like,
get
people that wholeheartedly
people get confused with love and lust.
Yeah.
Like you have to think, if you're laying up, having sex, like going and doing things like as if you were in a relationship, it's gonna feel like love. But if you take sex and you take all that intimate shit away and really be able to like sit down with a person, that's how you understand if you can tolerate and understand who this person is.
And I was gonna say a certain demographic of people too. What the problem with that is, I'm gonna say mostly men can have sex and it doesn't mean anything to them, but the physical act itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I know for some women, sex is more emotional. Like it means more than just just having sex, nothing more.
Yeah. You guys also have to think like, as a woman, that's like us opening our bodies to like men. Niggas like men, y'all just like sticking our dicks and stuff. It's like, I don't want to say it like that. I didn't want to say it like that.
But you said
like,
that.
Like you can't move the goalposts.
I'm sorry.
There are men out there that feel the same way.
I'm sorry that it's said like that, but that's how I feel. Like y'all, like for us,
I think majority.
It's like a little bit more like intimate. Like
I think sex is more intimate for women. Not intimate, not the right word. I'm sorry. Emotional, not intimate.
No, I think it's more like intimate because it's like.
What do you like? What's intimate to you? Because I'm thinking intimate and emotional is different. Like a man can be intimate and not have his emotions attached to it.
Yeah.
Because if someone, we don't have to get graphic, but
intimacy. Yeah.
You get a little in and out. I ain't talking about no goddamn burgers. You feel me? But
you guys get what I'm trying to say, but like, I feel like if there was a woman, I understand what I'm trying to say. Like, it's a little different for us because it's like you're inviting somebody into your body, and it's like, that might be like a little bit more personal than for you men, and it's just like,
why she say it like that? You hear the inflection in your voice?
Could go
for you, man.
You heard the inflection.
She clenched her jaws. She said it. She's like, it's a little bit more personal. She said, for you, man. But I think a lot of those conversations, they're important to have early on.
Essential.
Absolutely.
So you know who you're kind of dealing with. Because at the end of the day, on the first date, I'm not necessarily asking you if you plan on getting married to me, if you plan on having kids with me. I want to know because once again, Chris said it. Everybody has their own morals most people should have their own morals that they map out for themselves. You're gonna have your life plan that you map out for yourself. So it's not gonna happen exactly how you want it, but I want to know what that plan is, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going into business together. What's your business plan?
Mm-hmm.
You may tell me, I plan on making you $100K in your first quarter. It may not happen that way, but I want to see the plan that's backing this hypothesis. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I want to know what you think essentially your life looks like. And if you're telling me what you think is your perfect version and your perfect version doesn't align with my perfect version, then it's just,
can't get jiggy with it.
We're literally operating on two different wave planes. Like it's just not gonna be able to work, because if I'm like, I want to be really successful, I want to travel, I want to do this, and you're just like, I want to get a house, fucking no TV, I want a garden, and I want to read books on my front porch. Those are two different lives. Y'all can't live that life. You can't live those lives and they be together. Like, it just doesn't work like that.
They say opposites attract, though.
They do.
Opposite temperaments.
But like, you feel me? I ain't never see no.
You can't be completely opposite of your partner.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta have like similarities.
It's like, he likes to scream and put his hands on me, and I'm quiet and I'm respectful, and I talk him through it. It works. No, it doesn't.
Better wait.
Those are two different ends of the spectrum.
That was aggressive.
No, there's people that out there, and you feel me, they aggressive. and they like to put their hands on people, and they think that shit works. And that's the worst side of the scale, and there's people on the right side of the scale.
Yeah.
You might treat people more respectful and all that other stuff. Listen, don't put your hands on nobody. All right.
Nobody.
If they come at you,
We
hold on,
gelling
I'll tell you
off
the
this
truth, son.
nigga.
I just started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I'm going to
Okay.
tell you guys, there's people walking around
mm-hmm.
who you would never think they killers. I'm going to tell y'all right now, don't put your hands on nobody. Y'all better be out
Deadass.
there relaxing.
waiting to cash that ass.
There's a lot of
whooping.
MMA gyms. I'm telling you, there's people you would think
Mm-hmm.
there's normal people. Then you want to get all rowdy. Next thing you know, you're getting kicked in your face.
Listen, my best
Deadass.
friend looks like freaking
Oh, see?
Dennis the Menace.
See? Don't mess-
Muharrem.
You
He's
don't want no
Okay.
problems with him.
fucking the most unsuspecting white person you ever seen. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, this kid is.
Yeah, he's like real quiet.
Yeah,
Cool.
and his hands
He
are
will destroy your life.
all different types of legal.
Girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Matthew too.
That's the type of
Definitely.
person you try to start problems with, and then you wake up one day like, what happened?
And that's what you want your brain to be, people. You're like, dang, he seems cool. He seems cultured. He's probably into all that shade room shit. Nope. Nope.
But get your hands right too.
I'm into that.
Get your hands right though. Don't be walking around here not able to fight.
Yeah.
It's important.
Absolutely.
Because you don't want to be.
women too.
You don't want to. You don't want to be stronger or
Your
faster
confidence.
or be able to fight to hurt other people.
Hmm.
You want to make yourself
To protect yourself.
harder to kill.
If
Drop
a zombie
him,
apocalypse broke
drop
out,
bomb on him.
Shout out to Coach Scallon. What my coach said that he's like, I got enough muscles, man. He's like, you think I work out because I want to look better? He's like, I already got a girl. He's like, I work out every day. So he's like, if this motherfucker out there thinking that he can end me, I'm gonna make it harder for him. I'm gonna become harder to kill.
Oh,
And that's what you gotta
Was he a
do.
military
If
guy?
there's a no, if there's a virus out there, make that virus harder to kill you. It's like, oh shit, I entered Christian's body. All types of shit in
you
here.
ain't making it here.
Vitamins there, antibodies over here. I don't know where to go.
You ain't
'Cause
making
can't
it
go
here.
nowhere. You harder to kill.
If you can
feel
make
me?
it here, you
There's
can
a
make it
dude in your DMs. You feel me?
Oh.
He thinking he could just come in here with the bare minimum. Nah, Lay's out here making moves. She's leveling up. She's in her master's program. She's making herself harder to kill. Yeah, I set you up for that one.
I went to go speak and I choked.
That's funny as hell.
Sorry.
But yeah, we could wrap up. This has been. That's a call real quick. Lady, that was funny as hell. This has been another episode of the Demigod Chronicles. It's your boy Asante Daya, aka Demigod. You feel me? We just had a nice little convo. We are going to be announcing a new format soon. You feel me? Bear with us. We trying to figure out what's working, what's not working, and we're gonna be doing a whole bunch of different stuff. So, we're gonna figure out. We definitely need you guys to communicate with us. Tell us what you like, what you don't
Yes.
like.
Go follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, the Twitter.
Talk to us on Twitter, man. I be talking to y'all. Nobody talks.
Yeah,
back
you
to
feel me? Lady,
Talk back to me.
hey, fellas, Lay running that Twitter. Go crazy.
Go crazy.
Go crazy.
Go crazy.
You feel me?
I'm waiting for y'all.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for y'all.
Maybe we gotta start putting like the little dash and put Lay at the end of the tweet so they know it's you.
Like, good
So they know it's you.
morning.
Ooh.
Niggas ain't trying to slide DMs and talk to Chris. I know that. But yeah, follow everybody on their social medias at Alicia Ashley when she's available, like a sneaker drop, and I think she's available right now.
Yeah.
She's
I'm
available right now.
now.
At cb.lopez, at jsquay. Follow the page at the Demigod Chronicles _ on Instagram, at the DGC _ on Twitter, and on YouTube at Mastered Studios, MSTRD, studio spelled with a V. No, studio spelled regular, actually, on that one. And then follow me at _ Demigod _ and at MSTRD _ studio spelled with a V on Instagram. Yeah, it's been another episode. Chris hit the peoples in Spanish.
Gracias para escuchar. Somos los Demigod Chronicles y eso ha estado un otro episodio. So gracias para todo.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, send it to your mamas, and all that good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Do that. We out of here. We talk to you when we talk to you. Have a blessed one. Bow. To the other side.
side.